and welcome back. So this will be the fourth tutorial in the GlideForm chapters. Okay, so as we are following this ServiceNow JavaScripting challenge, okay, so this particular challenge, this particular video will be covering the topic from I think day challenge 5 to 8. Okay, so this will be the last on the GlideForm API. Okay, so if you have not seen our previous videos, please go and just get a reference out of it also. So let's get started without wasting time. So in today's tutorial, as I already stated, that we'll be exploring some interesting functions on GlideForm API with the demo. Okay, so let's go to our all-time favorite table, incident again, incident.list. Okay, and I'm not sure what kind of client script we have used for the last tutorial. Let's see. Okay, so we'll be using onChange client script because in the last tutorial I used onSubmit client script for the demonstration and it took a really long time for us. Okay, so let's get started, and I will go over here to the incident list, configure client script, and we will create a new client script. We'll give it a name as GlideForm 5. And it will be on change of anything. I just want to demonstrate what the function does. So we'll do on change of category, and boom, we are ready to go. So let's start with our first method, and the first method in our list is setFieldMessage. Okay, so basically what this particular function does, using this function you can add any message on the field. Okay, so we have seen the banner messages like add info message, add error message in the similar way. So ShowFieldMessage will help us to show the message on the field itself. Okay, pretty amazing. Okay, so you can consider a scenario like based on certain inputs. For example, description, you want to give some info message on description that what exactly needs to be added over there, or you want to show some error fields or warning. Okay, for example, there is a string field where you want only capital letters, then you can give that message over there that this particular field should have only capital letters. So it will help the users to add the relevant information over there. Or you can think any use case in your projects. So how you can, the signature for this function is g_form dot show field message. Okay, and it's asked for 3 attributes. One is like the input string, okay, in the message, on which particular field you want to show the message. Second will be the message, and the third will be the type of message, whether it's error message or info message. Okay, so let's add to the description. So I'll give description, and we want to give the message, okay, please provide valid description, right? And it should have a type as info because it's an information one, right? And let's copy the same, okay, and let's add one error message also. Okay, so I will go over here, and instead of description we will give it on caller ID. Okay, and we give requester only. Okay, and I will give it error. So let's save it out and see how exactly it looks on the form. So I will refresh the form, reload the form, and we have changed it. We have made it on change of category, right? So if I change the category to software, okay, so you can see this is the error message and this is the information message. This is how it looks. Okay, now you have added the message. Now you want to remove it out, right? So how you can remove that message out? Okay, so for that there is a function called hideAllFieldMessages. Okay, so it will be, the syntax for that is g_form dot hide field messages. Okay, so there are two things. One is the hide field messages, as you can see on the screen, which will hide everything. Okay, and the second one is like hide the message, okay, on the particular type of message. So we'll go for hide messages, and on which particular field we want to, so we will remove the message from description. Okay, done, and save. And if I go back to the incident form, if I go back to the incident form, I reload it out, leave, and if I change the category now to software, okay, it will remove the message. Okay. Oh, once the message is there, it can remove that message. So just keep this in mind. Okay, we have this particular function. Okay, the next in our list is I think I made a mess over here. Okay, yeah. So this is all for these two functions. Okay, the next in our list is hideRelatedList. So as you must be knowing what is related list. So you must be knowing this, whatever you see at the bottom, right? These are the related list, and you can see the related list name also, what exactly the related list name is. So if you can see that this has the name task SLA, this has task CI, and so on. Okay, so you can hide certain related list based on certain criteria, right? So for example, I want to hide task CMDB services when the category is software, okay, or when the category changes, okay, for an instance. So what you can do is g_form dot hide related list, okay, and you can provide the list, which particular related list you want to hide. I'll just remove the space from here. So you can consider a scenario. For example, if there is certain entity, or for example, I'm thinking out loud, okay, that you have a caller, okay, for that particular caller you don't want to showcase him the SLA information, so you can hide that particular related list when that user with that particular role is, okay, or any this kind of activity. So I will save this out, and if I go back to the form, so we are removing this one, okay, reload, leave, okay, and it's still there, it's still there, it's still there. Now if I change the category to software, okay, if I go down, so you can see the related list got revoked or removed, okay. Now you will be asking, okay, we have removed it out, what if we want to do hide show, okay. So for that we have a function called g_form dot showRelatedList, okay, which just does opposite of this, okay. So you can simply pass this CMDB CI services, and boom, it will showcase it back. So this is all done, okay. Now the next method in our list is what? The next is mandatory, okay, is mandatory. So you know there are a couple of fields which can be mandatory on the form, right? For example, is there anything mandatory? Or caller is mandatory. So this particular function will help you get the information whether that particular field is mandatory or not on the form, okay. So I can give alert, and we will check if that particular field is mandatory or not. So g_form dot is mandatory, okay, and then you can give caller underscore ID. So if it's mandatory, then it will give true, else it will give false, okay. So I can give some context for this. Is caller ID mandatory, okay. So we'll get some more information, and I will just save this out, and let's see how exactly it works. I will go tab. Okay, I'll reload the form. Okay, and now if I change this out to software, so it gives caller ID is mandatory. Why it's giving false? Yeah, it's giving Boolean value, but why it's giving false? Not sure. It's mandatory, right? Did I add negation to this? No. Oh, there is no field called caller ID. Okay, so it's caller ID. Okay, I made a mistake. I will go back. I will reload the form. Leave. And now if I go and select software, so it shows is caller ID mandatory? Yes, true, because it's mandatory. Okay, so you can play around the same. Okay, that you can. How I use this field is like I used to check a couple of fields. Basically, those fields are mandatory or not. It's mandatory. So you can create an array of the field which you want to have a watch list on. Okay, then you can check whether this particular field is mandatory on the form based on whatever condition is there on the form. If it's mandatory, okay, if any of the mandatory field is missing, then you can give some error message. Just thinking out loud. Okay, now the next method in our list is isNewRecord. So whenever we create a new record, okay, if you want to see whether it's a new record or it's an existing record we are trying to update, so this particular function is quite useful. So for that, I will just comment this out for a second, and I will add alert is new record colon space, and you have plus g underscore form dot is new record. So what it will do, it will give a Boolean value based on this particular record is already existing record or a new record. Okay, so I will save this out, and first we will try with the existing record. Okay, so I will go over here and let's reload the form. And if I go and change the category, okay, to software, okay, is new record? No, it's not a new record. False. Okay, it gives us false. Now if I go over here and if I do incident.to just to have a draft of a new record, okay, and let's see what happens over there. Incident.to leave. Okay, now if I change the category over here, then it should show, okay, it's a new record now. Okay, so if I change it to software now, so is the new record true? Yeah, it's a new record. Okay, so this is all about this particular method. Moving on to the next method, right? So the next method is, now we have seen how we can hide and show the related list, right? But on the form, if I go here and if I open this incident, the previous incident, right? If I open the incident, there's something called as sections also in the form. So you can see this section, notes, related records, resolution information, all these are sections. If based on certain condition you want to hide certain sections out, for example, you don't want someone to provide work notes and all these things, so you can simply hide the notes section out, right? So you can do it via one function, okay, and we'll be looking at that function. So for example, if you want to remove the notes section, so you can see that what is the backend name for notes function. Okay, if you right click, configure, okay, go to form layout and look at the sections. So we will be hiding the notes section for now. So if I go over here and I will first of all comment this out, and if I go g underscore form dot hide section, or let's before removing hiding the section, we can hide the section the same way. Let's look at one more method, isSectionVisible. Okay, so what this particular function does is like it gives a Boolean value if the section is visible on the form or not. Okay, so we will be passing a function called nodes, a section called nodes, and as that particular section is visible on the form, right, then it should give true, right? So I will just copy it out because we want to add alert for the same. So I will add alert. What happened? Alert, and oh, I screwed up the thing. Alert, and in alert we can is nodes section visible. Okay, this, and we can give plus g_form dot is section visible, and we have to pass the section for which we are looking for, so it's nodes. Okay, and save. Now a lot of people will be like, okay, how will come to know the nodes if you don't want to go to the section and all the thing? Okay, so we have seen in the previous tutorial there was a function called getSectionNames, right? Okay, so you can use that function and you will get a list of sections, and then you can easily find out what is that section is. Okay, so I will reload the form, and if I go for category and if I select software, right, so is node section visible? True. Why true? Because it's visible on the form. Okay, in this way this particular function can help you out. Now the next function in our list is setMandatory. Okay, so as you can see, this particular column field is mandatory. If I remove this out, it starts giving me error, right? It's mandatory over here. Okay, so how we can set certain field as mandatory? Let's go for description only. So if I want to make description mandatory, so how I can do so? First of all, I will comment this out, and I will be like g_form dot set mandatory, and it asks for two things. Okay, which particular field we want to make as mandatory or non-mandatory, and then the second attribution is at the second attribute which we want to pass is Boolean, whether it's true or false. If it's true, then it will make it mandatory. If it's false, then it will remove the mandatory. Okay, so we will add it to description, and if I go and I will make it true because it's already false, and if I save this out, if I go over here and reload the form, leave. So currently it's not mandatory, right? If I change the category now, I make it software. Now it turned out to be mandatory. Perfect, right? In the similar way, we have one more function called setReadOnly. So the way you made the things mandatory, right? In the similar way, you can make this field things read only also, right? So the function for which is used for that is set. You must have guessed it out, right? setReadOnly. So if I go to the read-only function, I pass the field name as description, the Boolean value is true, okay, and I will simply save it out again. Now if I go over here, you must have seen couple of this function, but couple of this function are new to me also, and probably it will be for you also. So now the description is editable. We have removed the mandatory conditions also. Okay, now if I go and make it software, okay, now you can see it turned out read only. I can't type anything, right? So this is one of the useful function. The next function in our list is setLabel. Okay, so there is a possibility for certain things, for certain fields, okay, based on the criteria we want to change the label. Okay, so for that you can use setLabelOf function. Okay, So for example, for description, I don't like the description for a certain user, or certain user doesn't understand this description thing. Or you can consider a scenario, you have given a description, but certain people doesn't understand, so you can use the language API to convert it to their regional language and then give it as a label. So how you can do that? So you can change the script form dot setLabelOf, and it asks for two things. One is the field name for which the label needs to be changed, and the second is the label. So I will again give description, and I will be like, I'll make it as summary. Okay, if I go and if I save this out, we will go Control Tab, reload the form, leave. Okay, and currently is description. If I change the category now, if I change it to software, so you can see the label got changed to summary. Isn't it amazing? Yeah. And the last two in our list, and I really find it, I'm really fond of it. Okay, I didn't find the use case to implement the same, but yeah, it's pretty fascinating. For example, if you don't want the user to click on the save or submit, okay, and you just want based on certain action it should get auto save kind of thing, then you can use a function called save g_form dot save. Okay, let's set the description also. So I will go g_form dot set value or description. Okay, so that we will come to know the difference. Okay, and it will for description, and we will set the value as category got change, so is saved. Okay, something like this. Okay, now if I save this out, right, if I save this out, and now you see the fun. So for example, if you have a user, okay, who is using this form, and you have set some default category, like for example, what is it, inquiry and help, and if someone tries to change it to software, okay, yeah, software, then you would simply, without taking his permission, you just say update the description and save the record out. Okay, so this is the same method. In the similar way, if you want to submit the form, then you have a method called g_form dot submit. Okay, what is the difference between save and submit? Save will stay on the same page, while submit will redirect you to the list view. Okay, so these are all the important functions, okay, which you can see in the GlideForm APIs. Okay, I was not aware that we have this much of method because I am prominently using couple of them only. Okay, and I think this was the end of this GlideForm series. Okay, I will continue working on the challenge, ServiceNow JavaScripting challenge. Okay, let's see what comes further. Till then, stay safe, stay happy, stay learning, and have a nice day ahead. Thank you.